Welcome to RISKSA TV. We're here at the first day of the Insurance Conference 2014 at Sun City, and we're speaking to SAIA Chairman Themba Gamedze. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Christy.
Firstly, there's been a lot of talk today about innovation and remaining relevant. How is SAIA working to remain relevant among your members?
I think the big thing is that our members have lived in an industry which is quite old. We had a presentation from Lloyd's, who are 326 years old or something. And I think what can happen in that situation is that you become complacent and you understand insurance in a certain way for a certain type of market. But South Africa is a developmental state. There are lots of changes. We're rebuilding an economy which was neglected. And you're finding groups of people who've never been exposed to insurance, never been exposed to financial services, who are asking what your relevance is. And I think one of the big things, as we're saying, is let's think about our customers. Let's start with them, because they're the ones who are going to lead the discussion. We really can't provide solutions for them, but we can listen to them. And that's what we're doing.
Absolutely, good to hear it. There are so many challenges facing this industry at the moment. We hear about them all the time. What do you think is the biggest issue facing your members right now?
At the moment, I think our members are pretty shell-shocked in respect of the regulatory changes. It has been mentioned that it's a big change from being almost a compliance-driven approach to being one which is forward-looking and is requiring industry to look deep within itself and ask its own questions about whether it's meeting client expectations and so on. So, for example, TCF is not saying regulator comes and says, have you done this, have you done that, have you done that? But it's saying, you convince me that you are meeting the expectations of your customers. So I think that, and the fact that there's a lot of regulation which is having to come in post the 2008 financial crisis is, I think, causing many companies to worry about whether they're really in their core business or whether they're just compliance officers. So I think we need to get over that. We need to make sure that we agree almost an end state with the regulators and then see how best to reach that end state. And at the moment, I think a lot of the discussion the people have felt it's reactive. So we're reacting to a financial crisis. We're reacting to the regulators. And we perhaps haven't spent enough time of thinking where we actually want to go as an industry. And once we've agreed that, I think we can then have a discussion about how to get there.
Absolutely, we hear that all the time. What is the SAIA role in that? How are you assisting with that?
Well, we engage with government, we engage with other stakeholders to get that dialogue going. I mean, I think one of the things, I'm the new chairman, I only came in less than a year ago, but I think what the emphasis is that we need to engage with government in a place where we're trusted. We're a trusted partner. I think up to now we have almost regarded ourselves simply as the recipients of regulation and legislation. Whereas I think government is looking to us to be proactive. So, for example, in respect of the National Development Plan, we're saying government wants to create jobs. It wants to create economic hubs. But in order to do that, obviously money needs to flow, investment. But in order for that to happen, we need to make sure that we've got all the things in place. Proper roads, proper firefighting equipment, proper stormwater drainage systems that are maintained. So there's a whole stack of risk on the ground that must happen in order for lots of these things to happen. So it's a mind shift of saying, it's not just saying participate with government as some kind of social thing, but it's actually saying you can build your business by being part of what the country is developing into. So that mind shift is one of the things. So it's a conversation with the stakeholders, but it's also a conversation with our industry.
We'll keep telling them that as well. A big topic of discussion today again was also compulsory third-party insurance. The Treasury was indicating that it's not even sure if this discussion is on the table. What is your response to that?
This is an issue which we have been discussing with Treasury for a long time. And the issue is, I think the issue in respect of Treasury is that Treasury hasn't taken it to the next level. Because clearly Treasury would be the starting point, and then it would go up the ladder, if you like, go up to be discussed at Cabinet and so on. From a Treasury point of view, I would say that their stance is that it's just an idea. We haven't reached the point of actually putting together a business proposition. Because, for example, one of the consequences is that if people are forced to have third-party property damage, they could, for example, drop their comprehensive cover and just have this third-party cover. So is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? The other thing is the pricing. Can you make sure that the pricing makes sense? At the moment, policyholders, or at least can I say drivers, are being hit with all sorts of costs. We've talked about the e-toll problem, fuel costs, and I think the timing is such that Treasury also feels that maybe this is not the time to now ask people to pay something else. But the issue is definitely being discussed, and I think it's just a question of us getting our act together and building an actual case that we can take forward.
Okay, what is the crux of this matter, though? Why are we pushing this so hard?
Because at the moment, 35% of drivers, only 35% are insured. So if I'm an insured party and someone crashes into me, I can't claim against their insurance. My insurance has to cover that, whereas that person really is at fault and is not insured. So it's not fair that we should be covering the cost of people who decided not to or are not insured. The second thing is that insurance works on the principle of the law of large numbers. So in fact, if we can get more people into the net, we can actually reduce the cost. The other thing about insurance is that perhaps should help with people understanding the risk better and being able to manage themselves. We've got these ideas of telematics and so on, which are helping people to manage their own risk. So a lot of problems on the roads, people driving fast, too close to the next guy, and perhaps because they're not insured, perhaps they're not aware of risk as they should be. We have no way of making sure that they understand risk. So that is the issue, and I think it's an important one for us to do.
Do we have any idea how much not having this is costing the industry?
That's a very interesting question. That's a very, very hard question. But I would say that if you think about the number of accidents which we have, I mean, if you imagine it's distributed across all drivers, even just with that, you'd say, well, of all the claims that happen, if those 35% who are insured cause 35% of the accidents and the others cause 65, then clearly the 35 is paying for 100. So it's effectively, maybe we're paying 3 times what we should be.
Pretty scary numbers, actually. Finally, your thoughts on the conference this year. What has been the highlight for you?
I think it's been very interesting to see the combination. I think the behavioral science discussion was very interesting. But I think it was important to have the regulator and the policymaker there, because we can live in this world in which we think, everything is fine, everything is rosy. But the reality is we live in a developmental state. We have an industry that has knowledge that the common person doesn't have, and occasionally that knowledge is abused. So I think that the reality check is also important. So I like the aspirational stuff, but there is definitely a reality check that we need to make sure that we appreciate as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. For RISKSA TV, I'm Christy van der Merwe.